Hi team, I hope that you are having a good Wednesday so far. I wanted to make a super quick video to walk you through what you're going to be doing with the sub today. What you're going to be doing with the sub today is review of Act 1, Scenes 1 through 4 of Macbeth that we've read so far. So I'm going to share my screen with you. You should have this handout. It was given to you on the day that you received your copy of the play. It is a dialectical journal. So dialectical means that you are talking to the text. So you're going to do a little bit of reflection, a little bit of analysis, and it's also going to be a place for you to take more focused notes than the ones that we've been taking on the packet. If you look at the graphic organizer in the very left-hand column, it says scene and line number, and then it has a bunch of numbers. Those numbers are organized by act, scene, and then line. So the very first quote comes from Act 1, Scene 1, lines 3 to 4. The quote is listed in the next column to the right, and then your job will be to complete the context and meaning columns. So for the context, that means that you need to cover the who, what, where, when, why of the quote. And y'all need to get better at establishing this when you write your essays. So this is going to be practice for you to do that as we read this play. In the right-hand column, you're going to talk about the meaning or the significance. And this is going to require you to maybe dive a little bit deeper, think about how the quote fits into the frame of the play that we've read so far. And then I'm also going to ask you to take a look at those notes that we took in class last week and examine the quote through one of those lenses too. I'm going to read the meaning column to you just so you have an understanding of what I mean by this. So the quote that's chosen is when the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won. The who, what, where, when, why. Who, the witches are speaking. Where are they? They're in the forest at the beginning of the play. Why? They're establishing the really ominous tone that's going to course throughout the whole play. So we got who, where, when. What are they talking about? They're talking about when they're going to meet next. Who, what, where, when, why. And they're also planning when they're going to meet Macbeth too. So it's double duty. So content-wise, they're talking about when they're going to meet Macbeth. For Shakespeare's authorial purpose, he's trying to establish this ominous mood. For the meaning, Shakespeare is introducing the witches and their important role in controlling the direction of the play's plot, simultaneously influencing the action while on the outskirts of it. So what we've read of the play so far, there's been one scene where the witches interact with Macbeth, but it was very, very short. They just delivered the prophecies and then they dip. That's important because the witches have a heavy-handed role in what the characters think about themselves and also their lives. At the same time, they're not really part of the action. Hurly-burly in this instance could be the war and the battles that are the backdrop of Act 1. Okay, so we talked about that when I said that Scotland had just finished fighting the war. It could also be interpreted as drama. And the witches are starting the play with the end when they say done. Okay, so it's like they are already anticipating the end of the play as they're introducing it. Through a post-structural lens, and if you look at your notes, this is the lens that says we're gonna do away with all sorts of structure and we're gonna question the text and we're gonna wonder what is really meant by the words that are used and the different shades of meaning that can be associated with the words. So through a post-structural lens, Shakespeare uses imprecise language to not only set the ominous tone with the witches and their cryptic messages, but to also create anticipation in the reader to expect that something will be won and lost in the character's consciousness, not just on the battlefield. And we've already been hinted at that as Macbeth is starting to think about how he wants to be king and how he might take the course of action into his own hands by killing Duncan. So think about this, talk about it with your group members, go back and reread, look at your notes, and complete this graphic organizer. I'm going to be checking it in class on Thursday. And on Thursday, when I see you next, we're going to finish reading Act 1 of the play. We're going to be introduced to Lady Macbeth. And then we're going to watch the film version because the play is actually meant not to be read, but to be seen. And I want you to be able to see this first act in its totality. So I will see you then. I hope you have a good day. Be nice to the sub, be nice to each other, be nice to yourself.